OBS. Desktop audio is muted. Music is muted. Discord volume is on. Hello. So I've discovered a new widget. So basically, I have discovered a way in OBS to separate for application audio things. So I mute desktop audio. So you can hear Discord, you can hear me, but you cannot hear my aux cord and the kinds of music that I am listening to while I draw. Hopefully you're not having an idea of what song is playing right now. Hopefully it's just you're just hearing my voice, which I tested it. It was like that in the recording. Now there's something else. I'm joined with guest Bone. I forgot to stream my art thing to him on
Oh no!
but there we go.
Yay! No.
Here's a little doodle I was working on. I might just work on this a little bit more, and after I just get a little bit of his guy's armor down, I might do some drawings related to my new setting, Spies of Corruption, coming out whenever we're done with Hunter. It's a original setting by me.
By him.
Uh,
So, you see, you talked about what you discovered today. Can I talk about what I discovered today?
What have you discovered?
Dick Cheney's fucking dead!
Rippozo!
Let's go!
I kind of, part of me wanted to name this the Pack Watch stream, but I forgot about it until now, and I'm thinking about
May his cock and balls forever be poked at by demons in hell.
Pack Watch. Pack Watch. I'm gonna hear. Now I'm gonna do something weird on the stream. You're gonna hear double voices.
May his cock and balls
Oh, is this for
forever
an
be
audio
poked at
check?
by demons in hell. No.
But holy shit, this is working the best it's ever worked. Oh my god. Holy shit. Yeah. All right, we're in the clear. But yeah, to continue this Pack Watch energy.
Rippozo.
Now, I talk about upcoming tabletop things, but I'm not. This is something that let me actually get the little square right here, just right. There we go. But this is a character. Justin's gonna be streaming a tabletop game of their own. Hummingbird Words is the name, and I'm going to be drawing the character I'm going to be playing.
Oh, is Justin actually streaming it?
I believe so. They've talked about streaming it.
What game is it?
It's running in Daggerheart, but it's a space game. So basically, they're taking a fantasy like game and they're running it in space. Well, for Spiders, I'm taking a space game and I'm running it in fantasy like setting.
He keeps on mentioning doing like a VTM thing in your setting. I don't know why he keeps on pressing with your setting. I don't know if there's something particular you guys worked out.
I think we worked something out. I think it's more of like, it'd be kind of a fun crossover thing if we had like, and also more for like, I guess like world building on both of our end to kind of have.
I think it'd be better just to do their own setting and have it be crossover whenever.
Just like the idea of they can do like their own VTM thing, but Shadow Justice's like shenanigans are canonical to it.
Also, you had mentioned before that maybe you would do a VTM thing. Are you actually gonna consider that?
Unsure. I've been thinking about it off and on, but I'm unsure.
Because like part of me wants, if Justin does do a VTM, I'm thinking part of me wants to get on that, but also Justin doesn't do images.
I know for the tabletop thing, Justin's doing. Joshy will be making some of the images for that.
Oh, okay, because like there is gonna be images, because I don't really like full theater of the mind. I like there to at least be something I can see.
I will say, it is kind of I will say when it comes to like theater of the mind, yeah, I get that. No, part of me is like, I remember Justin's like campaign was how I first started out, and it was the full theater of the mind. And how I basically thought about it was, what if I didn't go all the way in this theater of the mind thing? What if I drew stuff? Because I'm like people know me as one of the draw people who can draw. I'm like, what if I use that? And I did that for Hunter.
Yeah, part of me would also probably want to do that if I ever had time to myself. This year has been awful for me. Like I fell into like a real bad habit of getting home late again. I was doing good at getting home at a good time before, and then it just plummeted. But start getting home late again. But I've started to fix my sleep schedule a bit, so hopefully I can get back to getting home at a normal time. It is hard to do art whenever you get 3 hours. Whenever you get 3 hours to yourself.
Yeah.
Especially whenever you have a cat begging you for your time, and then you also have to make and eat food, and then just wait off the exhaustion.
Also, it turns out, I just learned recently that apparently a medicine I've been taking has been working like faster in my system than it does with like most patients that take it. So I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Is it like an exhaustive medicine? Like what's it doing?
It's basically like helping. It's basically supposed to like kind of like help with like inflammatory stuff with the immune system. I forget the exact details of what it does. But they give you an idea how nuts it is. I forgot to get it this week, but when I was visiting a doctor, he was like, "Oh, that's cool," because I could take the flu shot. Because if I was on the medicine and took the flu shot, the medicine would negate the vaccine outright.
Weird. Okay, I wasn't sure. You're saying like it acting fast, like was making you tired or something.
Nah. That's more of like just kind of the way my body is. It's just wait, shit, hang on.
Part of me also wonders what type of if we ever do a BTM thing. Just I'm unsure what vampire I'd want to go for.
I'm thinking, you know what's the thing I'm thinking about?
Huh.
Either I don't know if I would want to do like let me get the full list actually because I had an ideas.
Because like for me, oh go ahead.
Mine would either be I would check out okay, hang on, let's look. Either Salubri, Gangrel, or Thin Blood.
You want to do the thin blood sorcery or alchemy?
Alchemy. Have you seen what it does?
I looked it up briefly. So I was actually when I was going through one of the VTM novels, it was like an omnibus of 3 short stories. There's a thin blood guy that makes a mention of doing thin blood alchemy. I'm like, is that a mechanic? That's a weird thing to bring out of nowhere. It's like, oh yeah, okay, it is a mechanic.
So, do you know how vampires are like, oh, we're not weak to UV lights? A thin blood can make a potion and be like, you're weak to it now.
It's pretty funny. Don't they just grab random garbage and throw it into a bowl, into like a soup?
They use a bit of their blood to fuck with it.
Yeah.
And, you know what fucks with me is although the enemy has like a resisting dice pool, there's a telekinesis where you can push, pull, or hold or grab objects or people with your mind. That's a level 1.
For thin blood?
Yep.
Damn.
Yeah, like thin blood alchemy is fucking nuts.
Oh, that's for just the alchemy. Okay. I thought you meant that was just a thing they could do.
I mean, if a part of their alchemy, technically that is a thing they can do.
Yeah, but I thought you meant like an integrated power.
Also, because of their thin blood alchemy, eventually they could get something where they could pick a single discipline of their choosing and level it up like a vampire would level it up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like if I wanted to do like a character driven thing, as opposed to like a gameplay driven thing, I feel like I would either want to go with Malk or Ventrue, because I could be such a fucking piece of shit as a Ventrue, or
Oh,
such a fucking goofy cartoon as a Malk. But
I
from a gameplay perspective, I would kind of want to go with Tremere.
I for yeah, I forgot that I had an idea for a Ventrue character I would play.
Uh huh.
So he's a Ventrue, but his thing is that he isn't like a rich not his thing is that he is a what I would describe as a Camarilla lawyer. A vampire gets in trouble because of some crime that gets because although they cover up a masquerade violation as a regular crime, they're going in to get tried by human court anyway. They hire this guy.
I feel like that would be like the majority of the lawyers, the Ventures.
And I would be like the Ventrue lawyer. I'd be a Ventrue lawyer. Oh,
Yeah, that could be cool.
and I would have like and I'd level up his fucking politics and like whatever law skills there are real high. And that way, and I was like, why are you leveling those out? And then it's like, you get pulled over by the cops. I'm like, okay, it's my time to fucking shine now.
Do you know who I am?
Yeah.
You can pull that shit.
It's the, do you know who I am? But also, I get to pull the fun little, I know my rights. I, I make the dice roll for, for politics. There's like, for politics plus intelligence at diff 5. I make it, I'm like, I know my rights. I know the laws. You can't pull us over for this.
Here's the thing: you could also do politics plus charisma, and so you just fucking annoy the cop and use your credentials to get them to just go. It's not worth it. That's where you pull the "Do you know who I am?" shit, where it's just like okay, this is a big shot. He's rich. He can make my life annoying. He could make shit so much more complicated. But I'm gonna just let him out with the warning. Because there actually was like a politician or a lawyer or something that did like I think it was a politician actually that was like caught like super drunk driving, and they actually did try to pull the "Do you know who I am?" shtick. Might have been a judge.
Uh, the reason why I'm thinking about it a lot was like the is like the like a moment where it's like the I is like I'm gonna sue. It's like you can't sue us. It's the state. I'm not suing the state. I'm suing you individually. Courts will love
Yeah,
it. Your case, even if the case is totally against us, we have to. I'm a lawyer. I have time. I can keep whittling away at your finances, and I could drain you dry.
yeah. It's not just that you have time. You also have the money.
Uh, I'm
That's
a
how they get you.
I'm a
So they
lawyer.
they
I'm
it's like a
looking.
siege, like a siege where you just have to drain the resources until they give up.
I I'm now imagining like my Ventrue lawyer as the. He's not exactly like the best combat guy, but he's the guy who you want to get if like after you shoot your gunshots and the cops inevitably go to investigate it.
I mean, that's kind of also the thing with the World of Darkness games, right? Where they aren't really combat games, unless I think it's Werewolf. I think Werewolf's a bit of a combat game.
Yeah, werewolf is if you want your traditional like dungeon crawling combat, you pick werewolf for more combat. Although vampire is built so there can be combat.
Like I know that like Josh, he said that he told you that he wanted to be the gun guy, and I think that was early on in character creation. And whenever he said that, part of me was thinking like, is he aware though that it is a narrative focused game?
I mean, yeah, but I will
Not
say
that it's not that it's a problem to have a gun guy. It can be good to have the combat guy. I just wasn't sure if he
also
was aware.
Also, I was aware, but here's the thing: the World of Darkness, like a lot of times, there's groups. So it would be a problem if everybody was a gun guy, right? But
Yeah.
if you have like a group of people and you have the guy that can talk you out of a bad situation, the guy that can investigate, you might want to have the guy whose thing is that he can shoot a gun real good, because that's the guy who will actually help you with more firearms related stuff. And you'll also be and maybe if you make your character a talker like my venture lawyer. So let's just say Joshi makes, instead of 7, makes a Toreador gunslinger, and it's the gunman, and he moves fast, shoots good, right? And I make my venture lawyer. He will be good at firing the gun to protect my sorry ass from any combat scenarios. And if a cop shows up to investigate, I'm the guy who will get his sorry ass out of a fucking jail time or a ticket.
Oh yeah, just
And that,
but I believe.
uh,
Oh, go ahead.
and that's kind of like the thing about making your character specialize in combat, is that it works best is when you get like 1 or 2 like that. Because not 1 or 2. I guess the main point is it's not bad to have a character be specialized in combat in a World of Darkness thing if it's a character in a group, because that means you get to save people by doing things they can't, and they'll always be able to save you by doing things that you can't.
Oh, sure. It's just I believe he said that like right after he did like 5 damage to the ghoul guy, to the ghoul Langstrom, and he was like, "Oh, did I just kill him?" I'm like, "You did 5 damage, my guy. Do
Why
you
do
not know how powerful the damage in this game is?"
This is why you always want a gun guy in your group, and that's why you want the lawyer guy to talk him out of trouble.
So that's where like kind of the idea of like just was he aware that this game isn't like a combat focused thing, mainly because like
I
whenever he
know.
sounded surprised by 5 damage, I'm like, I saw 5 damage and went, oh my god, you obliterated him. Where he was like, wait, did I kill him? And I'm like, yeah, you did 5 damage. That is like the entirety of my health bar.
Yeah, so that's why with a lot of like Hunter, the road trip, I feel like a lot of combat encounters is kind of walking, even though it should feel deadly. A lot of it has been also a bit of eggshell walking, because I don't want to be like the big bad backhands you. Oh, my character's dead.
Yeah, because like whenever I was going through the book and looking at the math and all of that, well, like quote unquote, looking at the math, just seeing like how much damage versus the health bars. Like a part of me was thinking like, oh, excuse me, got had like dust in my throat. Part of me was thinking like, oh, this game really doesn't want you to fight. This game doesn't want you to fight. Not with guns anyway. Like this game once will like is saying to you, if you get into a gunfight, you might just die.
Uh, if you haven't played, Hunter is a game about planning when it comes to a lot of this. It's a game about thinking about your next move real carefully. It's it's not a game of like running up and like slicing and Zandatsuing a guy Metal Gear Rising style. It's pulling like a fucking scheme where you run up on a guy and being like, "Hey, I know you hate me, but you probably hate this other guy worse. So I know a way I can help set up a way to kill him. Do you want to help me?" And then that guy with your scheme will take care of him and not get you involved. You know what I mean?
This also kind of goes into like me being unsure if some of the players understood just how like not combat focused this was. Whenever Steph suggested Zach just run at those guys with the guns with the sword. Go on, Zach, just run in there with the sword. I'm like, maybe Zach shouldn't. Maybe Zach should use the drone to scout out.
I guess this also kind of reminds me of a character I've made intentionally vague recently, even though I might have said what his deal was. But Shadow Justice, because I originally had an idea of what he was explicitly, but then I kind of changed my mind because I felt like I wanted to keep it more ambiguous, even to me, because I'm unsure what direction I would want to take him in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I'm fine with throwing Shadow Justice as like a shock troop into the enemy because he's a freak.
But also, yeah, that's kind of what you're meant to do in that scenario. You're that, oh, there's like a bunch of guys in there throwing the fucking weird freak of nature to soak up any like damage and deal with that while you pick off any the other ones at a distance. Like Shadow Justice is like, let's just say your enemy is like you're trying to get it inside the house. Shadow Justice is the battering rams and also the fucking flashbangs you throw in before you go in yourself.
He's the thing, but
Uh,
also very acrobatic thing. The
uh,
thing, but with the acrobatics of Batman.
yeah. I will say though, I feel like if I was a lot more like, I guess I would probably need to like draw a couple example pages because I remember it was a little bit tougher to do so for me. But I feel like if I locked in a little bit more, or if I was like focused hard enough, I guess a part of me is contemplated making an actual short Shadow Justice comic, not like a whole run, but
That
like
could
a
be
short
fun.
one off. And the idea would be like you get to kind of see like bits of how he is.
The war.
Yeah. Also, you get this the war, and also you get to see how he got his 90s costume.
Also, man, there are times where I'm going back through the VOD, and this is both a funny thing to me and also something very annoying, where I have no idea what I said. Like, I'll hear something I say, and whether it's like me just having issues saying some words or something, or it's me trying to do the Ed voice and it coming out gargled or something. But there are times where I have to put on the closed captioning to see what I said.
Ooh.
And I'm like, is everybody else understanding me? Because I'm wondering if it's like maybe like everybody else has their own distinct volume settings or something.
Yeah,
Or maybe it's
also
easier in the moment, or if like it is actually just me sometimes struggling to say words.
uh uh here's say if I know you've probably seen it because you went back through the VOD, but here's his 90s costume I gave him.
That was so weird to wake up to whenever I passed out and then woke back up to this, and I'm like, what, are we fighting?
Uh,
Because I woke up to this, and I was like, what did I miss?
uh, yeah. That was kind of my idea of what he wore during that brief stint in the 90s when he woke up.
Also, as somebody that really gets into like that, likes getting into the weeds of planning, boy, that was a weird one to pass out on. Because that last session, like, it felt very me core in planning shit out with these new hunters.
Yeah, but if you notice, I kind of how I wrote the new hunters, how they're like, how they've been like basically going around like hiding a lot of their actions and whatnot, and just being completely flabbergasted at like the adventures ever that you guys have been getting up to.
Oh yeah, like we are surviving on the grace of cartoon logic sometimes. Compared to like these like super professional, like careful dudes, and we just happen to run into Mothman.
Oh yeah, we have Mothman. Yeah,
We have a mage. We have we run into like a worm guy. We run into like a weird Scooby Doo off-brand Scooby Doo gang. We are magooing our way through.
I thought it'd be funny to have you guys like bump into like a more how I would describe as characters I wrote as this is what a more serious Hunter the Reckoning group would look like if they were hunting shit in New York. And if you
Actually, we aren't magooing through. We're Weird Westing through.
but if you
Or not
notice
Weird Westing. What is it called in New Vegas?
Wild Waste Landing.
Yeah, Wild Wastelanding.
But also something if you noticed they only knew about vampires, ghosts, and zombies when you brought up the other stuff, they were like confused.
Yeah.
And they've been at it for a while.
They went through an alien.
They also had an alien.
Man, I would love to do a Wraith game. Like the Wraith series, Wraith the Oblivion seems really interesting.
When I think about VTM, VTM is one of the things where I feel like I would want to play it. I don't think I would want to run it. I would want to run something like either Mage or Deviant, the Renegade.
I actually do very much have an idea for a campaign in VTM. I just don't have time. I just don't have time to plan one out.
You know,
did you ever watch the Burger Krieg dude go through like the various game systems?
I might have. I actually did when I was looking up how to write various characters. Like when I wrote a little bit of Ken Anderson, the Ryan Gosling guy, I looked into his video on Changeling for some reference.
Do you think it is safe now to look at this Changeling video? Because I've been avoiding it.
Oh yeah, it's been safe. I meant to clarify.
All right, because like whenever
it was only not safe because you were hunting one and you are no longer.
I wasn't sure if there was anything with the goblin market that would have affected. But yeah, I watched this video on Wraith, and man, Wraith seems so cool. It seems like it's such an interesting setting.
I like this. I guess another thing is, another setting that I can maybe see is me running is Changeling.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. You know, you got the double existences kind of thing going on. I do know. I did watch a bit of the Changeling video, but then it got to like the Ucili thing, and I was like, oh, I shouldn't watch this. Like I heard that name mentioned, and I went, oh, I shouldn't watch this.
But I think it's safe now because mainly at the time you were killing one. What a how like wild. I was like thinking it's like when it comes to World of Darkness, a lot of people associate VTM with it first. And my first order of business is we're doing Changeling.
Yeah, this Hunter the Parenting setting and this VTMB setting really just got me raring to play Changeling.
It's that we're killing a Changeling.
Oh, I thought you meant making like instead of Hunter, you started with Changeling as a setting.
No, I meant the more as like, oh man, people think about hunt. They think about vampires. They think about hunt. They think about werewolves. I'm like, how about for the very first one, you guys hunt something fucking weird? Here's a Changeling.
That did surprise me whenever you decided to go with that.
How about I do something? How about I throw a curveball as the first one? Which makes it extra funny that I picked a more traditional one for the second.
Yeah. Something I think if we do a mage thing is see if I can figure out a way to. Do you know what Superliminal the video game is?
Yeah, I've heard about it.
Do you know what like the gimmick is?
Yeah.
It's like how you like play with perspective. You move up close to something and it makes it big, and then you move it away and it makes it small. I feel like I would try to see if I can find a way to do that in Mage.
Oh yeah, I feel like you could with like reality and like matter, I think, or prime.
To have things like scale with distance. I will say in Superliminal, there are moments where it's like, oh, I can tell what's going on because it is just a thing where the item scales with distance. It's actually like I was wondering like how are they doing this? How did they program this? Oh, it's actually super simple because whenever you move it between like a close up wall, like an item between a close up wall and a far away wall, like really fast, you can actually see the thing changing sizes. In the video game Superliminal.
Yeah, I've seen. It seems really interesting. It is kind of funny though that there's a game that was like it, but it had like a narrator in it that was
Stanley Parable?
not Stanley Parable. No, it was something else. It was one of.
Was it the horror one?
It is not. I don't know if you've heard of it or not. Hang on. Let me doing a bit of a redesign of this character's armor.
Do you have any particular reference in mind for this?
I'm using various references. One is although a couple of the references were for the helmet, one of which was for I Divine Cybermancy. Some were some Space Marine armors. And the other one was a Republic Commando. Like from Star Wars and whatnot.
I know about Republic Commando. That game not having co-op sucks. It sucks that game does not have co-op.
Yeah.
I don't even think it has a co-op mod.
That is very unfortunate. If it doesn't even have a co-op mod. Let me put this up here.
Get to breaching deltas.
Alright, there we go.
Get on that back there, soldier.
Let me zoom this in.
Yes, all these clones with different voices. All these clones that don't sound like Tamara Morrison, except for the commander, who was voiced by Tamara Morrison. And they were right to do so. To my understanding, George Lucas, I believe, actually was the one that suggested they all have different color armor. Where before they were all just going to be white armored.
That is kind of interesting. They're like, oh, white armor to be more like faithful to like the George Lucas thing. Nah, make a different color. The design, give them some unique design to be cool.
Yeah, and then he saw the Darth Talon toy and then put it next to the Darth Maul toy and said they're friends.
Yeah.
And then they made them smooch. Then went, this character should be in the sequel trilogy. Apparently Darth Talon was gonna be in the sequel trilogy, the original George Lucas idea one.
That would have been something.
Because she looked cool. And he was right, she does look cool.
Yeah.
Man, Darth Talon is such a Gooner bait character. My God.
I was holding back calling her the Gooner character. I was thinking it like, yeah, cool design. I was thinking, oh, it's the Gooner.
She's just wearing underwear. She's just wearing underwear.
I was holding back just call her a Gooner character. I'm like, maybe that's you. Nah, she's the Gooner character. The Gooner pick.
Like, women know it.
Listen, George.
She's wearing a thong.
George Lucas looked at that time as like, Dark Talon, it made me think things. Put her in a sequel trilogy.
I guess it's actually more of like a loincloth kind of thing, but still, like.
I mean, I feel like that's almost worse. Not worse, but.
Not. I wouldn't say that's worse than a thong.
Okay, it really depends on the loincloth. I've seen some revealing loincloths, trust me.
But like, here's her from a side view. You can't see this audience. Look at that. That's a Gooner character.
I think the trickiest thing about this drawing is that I drew his torso from like an angle. I drew him at like kind of a slanted angle, So getting everything symmetrical is gonna be a little fucky.
Also, this image is really funny. The one that I just sent you see, well, in live chat, because it's like male armor, like being all spiked and heavily armored, and then you have female armor that's just the bikini.
I remember like that spiked armor, and it's like this is the armor of like this guy. It's lightsaber proof, and like young me was like, oh, that's so cool.
No, I saw that and thought that was fucking lame, and I was like a fucking 10-year-old.
I was like, he's deflecting the lightsaber blade with his wrist like some fucking Wonder Woman type shit.
Also, for the audience, I posted like a thing that was like Darth Krayt next to Darth Talon, and it really is just male armor, like, is the biggest fucking bulkiest shit ever. Then female armor is a bikini.
Honestly, I think this ruler might be fucking me on this angle.
I feel like if you wanted to do like a modern interpretation of Darth Talon in the setting, you would give her like something that looked like the Asajj Ventress kind of outfit. Because Asajj Ventress looks fucking awesome.
Oh yeah, I think Genndy Tartakovsky really fucking nailed that look. Because I want to say that design came from the Genndy Clone Wars.
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. Same concept art, likely. Honestly, I'm a bit surprised they haven't put her in anything live action with the new stuff. There have been some cool, like, the live action concept figure kind of statue things.
Oh yeah, those are always cool to see. Alright. I want to say that the torso is a bit angled here. So we'll work it so we're gonna cheat a little bit.
She also was a special character in one of the Battlefront, in the older Battlefront 2. I forget if that was like one of those Xbox exclusive characters or not.
Bit.
Oh god, she looks ugly as fuck in the old Battlefront 2. I don't know if this is like a mod or if this was like one of those special characters like Kit Fisto. But oh man, she is ugly. Just posted a picture. She also has a weird nunchuck lightsaber. Okay, yeah, they were only Xbox DLC exclusives for Battlefront 2 2005. Kit Fisto with the other one. Oh, Kitty, what are you doing? Okay, it's fine. You're just stepping on the laundry basket.
I thought you were saying like a weird pet name for Kit Fisto.
No.
Like Kitty.
But that would be good. That would be good. That would be good though.
Kitty, no. As like.
That's what the Koreans call them.
Man, this reminds me of a Jedi that like people dislike, and I think it's really fun. I kind of dislike him too, but it's really funny to hate on him for whatever reason. Just really funny. Ki
They hate on
Adi
Jedi.
Ki Adi Mundi.
I don't think that name sucks, but he apparently the dude was an asshole.
The guy was an asshole, literal dickhead. I mean, have you seen him?
I have seen his head.
His head, literal dickhead. And he
One of
acts
the
like
few
it too.
Jedi that was allowed to breed for their low fertility rates.
Yeah. Honestly, I like to think that the clone troopers who shot him didn't get Order 66. They were just tired of him.
Yeah.
Fuck Kiadi Mundi. All my homies.
Well, okay. All your homies except for the Wookiees. The Wookiees, I'm sure, thought he was a bro. He cared about the Wookiees. He asked, "What about the droid attacking the Wookiees?" He cares about the Wookiees, man. You can't say he did.
You know what? You can't say he didn't care for the Wookiees, which is unfortunate.
Or is he like the fucking? Is he like the fucking Cheney? Where it's like, oh, what about the Iraqis? Did you consider the Iraqis?
Kiadi Mundi is fucking this Jedi Dick Cheney.
He wants to steal oil from the Wookiees.
I don't think anybody in the Star Wars community has been able to come up with like good like agenda level hating on Kiadi Mundi as us calling him Jedi Dick Cheney.
What even is the fuel in Star Wars? What's
don't know.
Is it crystals? Do they use crystals?
Lightsabers do, but that's its own thing.
Tabana gas, I guess. That's for blasters. But I think that's like almost like that's on Bespin.
Man, I remember getting this lore book that was like from like a new lore book, and it fucked me up. It's like, oh yeah, they have like these like weapon detectors. They're like metal detectors, but they detect blasters. If you bring a round slugger, which is basically a gun that shoots bullets, it won't pick it up. And I'm like, that's kind of funny.
Man, fucking slug throwers are one of the weirdest fucking things. They had to bullshit a reason why they aren't in use.
Also, slug throwers don't get detected at the fucking airport security, so you can sneak them past. And I'm like, that's really funny. I can just, if I just had an AK-47, it just wouldn't be picked up by Coruscant security.
I am shocked with the lack of lore on the Wikipedia entry in the Legends category for fuel. It is actually like the Legends category for fuel on Wikipedia is actually shockingly low.
Alright, now this is a bit of a revised version. Need to work on his hands a bit more, but how you feeling? God damn it! How you feeling about his armor set?
Looks cool. Can't really say much more than it looks like armor. I like the fabric on the front though.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to have the idea of maybe of like having some fabric on the armor, kind of.
Did you ever play SWTOR? I mean, KOTOR 2?
I need to play 1 and 2. I have them both.
Okay, because like KOTOR 2, this isn't really a spoiler. It starts on like a mining facility that I guess was for fuel. So that was something. So I guess they do use fuel in Star Wars. I will say it is actually really interesting, like because I started with KOTOR 2, and then I played KOTOR 1, and like the big twist in KOTOR 1 that playing KOTOR 2 first actually really does well at setting it up as an even bigger reveal because it's like they hype up something.
Oh.
But then it's like the something is actually talked about in KOTOR 1. So it's like, oh, that thing. So yeah, KOTOR 2, KOTOR 1 actually works really well as a prequel.
I was doing a pose reference for this like weapon holding stance. The only problem was like it was very low resolution, so I couldn't tell what the fingers were doing exactly. Everything else is fine. Wrong button.
And man, I want to like Star Wars again. It's like I just Rise of Skywalker did a number on me.
I hated that movie. I will say I was thankfully able to have to separate the entire sequel trilogy from the rest of the IP and franchise.
I think a part of it was because I was like so much of my love to Star Wars was anchored in that in those movies, like the actual like movie canon, I guess, that the Legends stuff kind of webbed off from, and I didn't have a lot of disposable income, so a lot of my expanded universe first-hand accounts came from like video games specifically, like no comics, no books. And I didn't get disposable income until the first movie came out, the first sequel movie. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll get into this new canon. I'm not too married to the old canon. I like the Wikipedia entries, but maybe I'll see. Maybe this new canon will grow on me. And so I think that didn't help.
Oh, I think I was 16 when that movie came out.
No, you would have been younger, because I grad you how okay how old are you?
24.
All right, I'm 28. That means you would have been 4 years younger than me, give or take, like a year or something. I graduated in 2015, and that movie came out in 2015.
Okay, wait, 2015. I thought it was 2017 for some reason.
So you would have probably been like 2 years younger than what you mentioned. I think you said like you thought you were 16. You were probably like 14 or 13.
Okay, Force Awakens release date. 25th December 18, 2015. I was 14.
Yeah.
I would say like I think my knowledge of Star Wars was like, oh man, that Jedi Academy game was good. I knew a bunch of like lore stuff, and I'm like, yeah, this seems like it'd be cool. Are they gonna adapt the books I hear takes place afterwards that I hear is really good?
Ha!
And they do it, and I'm like, huh, that's it. And young me,
Honestly, they should have. They should just adapted the books, to be honest.
I don't know, like the books I was thinking about was like there's like these novels that were by a notable novel person, R.A. Salvatore, and it was about them finding some shit at the edge of the galaxy, or was that the center?
My cat just dug his paw blades into my arm real bad there.
Oh,
he really wants attention. Ooh, almost shredded my skin there.
My dog was like trying to catch like a toy, and my hand slipped and he got me. And that was the moment I can tell. Anytime he goes to like quote unquote bite me, he's always holding back. Or wait, no, I don't think that happened. Am I remembering that wrong?
I really gotta get one of those kitty nail clippers.
No, I think I tried to pick him up and he just bit me a little because he just doesn't like being picked up for some reason.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, there were a bunch of books in the post movie era. Do you know about the Yuuzhan Vong? I assume you know about the Yuuzhan Vong.
Vaguely.
They're like the weird flesh monster guys that like make like bio mechanical shit, and I think they did flesh crafting shit. And they didn't, and they decided to come and fuck shit up, and I don't think the Force worked on them too good.
I think that might have been what I was thinking about. I was like, oh man, that seems like it'd be cool.
I think Luke used Force lightning on one of them one time.
I remember being like, oh, Kyle Katarn's so cool, but then like later on, I was like, oh. But what's the worst part about the idea of Kyle Katarn being retconned through the new movies? Is that the stuff that retconned him was actually really good? It was Rogue One and Andor, and that's the worst part, having to grapple with that.
I don't even think I would call that bad. I think I would call that a silver lining.
I was like, I like Kyle Katarn, but he's really cool. But he got retconned. But the stuff that retconned him was actually like really well written. Granted, you
I
could
could live with it.
argue that he got a very different Death Star plan than the rest of Rogue One.
I really want to watch Andor. I just haven't given myself time to do it.
I guess that's one thing that's also kind of funny about the idea
And catch up on Mando. Go ahead.
of Dark Forces is being like, I was like, oh, where did you get the Death Star plan? Oh yeah, it's like many people died for this. Oh yeah, Kyle Katarn showed up and like just punched people and shot up with his gun and single-handedly got some Death Star plans. Like,
he's the coolest. He can use the lightning, and he doesn't afraid of anything. And he uses a blaster and a lightsaber.
he's so cool.
He's so cool, guys. Almost as cool as Dash Rendar. Do you know Dash Rendar?
When I think of Dash Rendar, I always think that fucking robot chicken skit where it's like, they don't expect a ship shaped like a toilet, and they made fun of me for making my entire costume of toilet paper and theming myself after a toilet, but who's laughing now? Dengar's got it, baby.
Yeah, Dash Rendar. He's just like Han Solo.
There are people at the fucking Mos Eisley Cantina that had more interesting designs than him.
I think he's kind of cool. He fits the time. He's got that old aesthetic that I like. You know who's almost as cool as Jabba the Hutt? Prince Xizor from the Black Sun.
Xizor sounds like the name of that one like Dragon Ball AF character.
Kind of does. I remember going through like the not Dark Forces. What was it called? It was shit. What was the fucking book? Shadows of the Empire. I think it was. I think it was that. It was supposed to be in between episode 5 and 6, where it's talking about like Luke and Leia trying to find Han because he's all carbonated, and so they have to work with the Black Sun or do some shit. I don't know. And then, which is run by a guy named Prince Xizor, who's like a weird green crime lord man. And I was looking at his name as a kid because I was going through this novel I got from the school library and went, how the fuck do I pronounce that name? But I didn't say the fuck word because I was a child and I was a good child. Do you know how to spell Xizor?
I imagine it's with an X and an I.
It is with an X. I kept on saying it as Xizor.
Once again, I remember that because it reminds me of the fucking Dragon Ball AF character.
Do you know what Xizor looks like?
I might post them anyway.
Yeah, give me a second. Let me find a good image of this guy. Like a full body one. I'm trying to find like there's some weird full body ones, and then there's some ones that are just headshots. Here, I'll get this one.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah,
that's who he is.
Yeah, it's that guy. He's also, I was surprised to find out he is in the DLC for Empire at War, the RTS, the Forces of Corruption DLC. He's like a story character. Has voice acting and everything. But yeah, I in particular remember this is one of those like young puberty things where it's like I start to discover it's the sex feelings where they do like a weirdly erotic scene with him and Leia because he can produce pheromones that can make women want to fuck him.
Yes, the pheromone plotla.
Yeah.
The me making a character of this race, introducing the pheromones thing, but having it, he's like, I like men though. That's the problem. Like he's like, and like the moment there was like a woman's like swooning over him, he's like, oh god damn it.
Was there a comic? Shadows of the Empire. Yeah,
I
maybe
remember
there was
seeing
a.
a toy of this guy in an old action figure in a comic when I was at this one local store.
But yes, I can definitely say that probably 14 or maybe 13. That 13 or 14-year-old man, Bone, thought had some feelings during that erotica in the young adult novel. I assume it's fitting of the young adult moniker. I don't know what demographics Shadows of the Empire was going for.
Yeah.
I still have not gone through a single Thrawn book.
I hear those are good.
I hear they're pretty fucking good. People love Thrawn. I'm kind of expecting that if I ever go through them, I probably do an Audible. If I ever go through them, I'm probably going to be disappointed just because of how hyped they are. That thing of expectations. Thrawn is the coolest guy. He's always doing his 4D, 5D, 7D chess against the Force. He has a lizard that makes Force not work on him. He's so smart and cool and blue.
Thinking about the obligatory Breaking Bad clip of the "What's wrong with you? Why are you blue?"
Are you aware of Thrawn's lizard?
I am not aware of his lizard.
If I remember correctly, during my Wikipedia dump, like just like binging, I believe he had like a lizard called like a Y salamiri or something like that. A Y, like I remember it starts with a Y and has like salamander sounding name on it or something like that, and it makes the Force not work good on him. He has an anti-Force lizard always with him because he's smart. One of the few Legends characters they brought back for Rebels and Ahsoka, the Ahsoka live action. I think that was it. I sometimes forget there's an Ahsoka live action.
I also like I would say I also read, but like I haven't seen it, but I know it's there, and I've seen the fucking Coca-Cola ads with like with like a live action Ahsoka on it, and I'm like, this feels weird. I'm not used to this.
I feel like if this was me, but if you were to show Young Bone this during the height of his love of Star Wars, he would be freaking out. He would be so excited. It would seem like the best thing ever, and then I would tell him, "Yeah, this is after you not hate, but this is after you fell out of love with Star Wars." And Youngbone would think, "How is that possible? How could I ever fall out of love with Star Wars? That sounds impossible. Star Wars is the best thing ever."
Granted, I still like Vampire the Masquerade, and I still like Disco Elysium. So maybe I'm just built strongly.
I don't know exactly how those things would connect.
Basically, how like Star Wars was kind of like, oh, like the new movies kind of killed it for you. And with Bloodlines 2 happened.
The thing
And,
is, like,
and with
Vampire is
Disco
so...
Elysium happened, and its entire dev team eventually just got turbo fired. And
Well,
they don't make
it's
money off it anymore.
Well, Bloodlines benefits from that entire franchise being so decentralized in its narrative. Like, it's not anchored to, like, a particular thing outside the broad concept of its setting. Star Wars is, like, anchored to its movies. Now, some people don't have their love of Star Wars anchored to the movies. I unfortunately did. And with Disco Elysium, it's not like a franchise. It's one game. That one game is unaffected. Well, I mean, like, technically it is affected, but the narrative is unaffected by the death of the studio. That game is still there. There's nothing that's that's retroactively killing that game for you.
I just hope it stays that way. I hope they don't get any funny ideas. Because I feel like then again, even if they do, I can always just say it's not canon.
Yeah, I feel like Disco Elysium isn't Star Wars.
I mean, granted, I think the best example would have been just Star Wars itself.
Yeah, Star Wars is in its own kind of problem state.
Where I'm like, I hate the prequels. I could pretend like they don't exist.
Wait, really? Do you hate the prequels?
Not prequels, sequels.
Oh.
I think
because like you strike me as somebody that'd be okay with the prequel.
I am all right with the prequels. Like, but I'm talking about the sequels. I'm like, listen, the sequels don't exist. There's the prequels. There's the original trilogy. There's like Rogue One and like Andor, and there's a little bit of Mandalorian there. There's been no sequel series. That doesn't exist. Andor's been good. That was really cool. I wonder if they'll do more Star Wars movies after making a thing that's that cool. That's kind of the AC mindset on Star Wars.
Are you telling me that you did not care for Star Wars Resistance, the animated series?
Wait, you mean Star Wars Rebels?
No, Resistance.
I've never heard of this.
You didn't know about the sequel setting, Star Wars Resistance?
No.
You're right, let me find it. You probably have seen it. You've probably seen what this looks like.
I might have.
Let me give me a second here. This.
Let me peep this. I've never seen this.
Really?
I'm just going to pretend like it doesn't exist.
It had the Golden Stormtrooper in it.
The Golden.
Here's the Golden Stormtrooper guy. This
is not a show that matters to me.
I heard it was okay. Also, man, this strikes me as one of those things that looks awful in stills, but looks fine in motion. I've seen clips from it in motion. It looks much better in motion than it does in stills.
Make a little color palette idea.
I'm actually a little surprised that you did not know about Star Wars Resistance. Here's Adam Driver. Here's what Adam Driver looks like in that art style. It is always funny seeing comics try to depict Kylo Ren, because it's like, okay, we gotta try to draw Adam Driver's weird head. His handsome weird head, but weird head shape nonetheless. And it's so distinct. So it's very odd whenever they try to make it into a cartoon or stylize it, because it's already so stylized IRL.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking about that fucking one Star Wars comic artist who just like very clearly traced the heads of the
The
actors.
Wait, is it just traced the heads or traced everything? Because
And
there's the one that traced everything.
Never mind everything. I was wrong.
Okay, I wasn't sure if we were thinking of the same one. Yeah, here's like one of those things where it's like, here's an image of them drawing Adam Driver, trying to stylize him, and something just looks off.
I'm trying to think about what color palette I'd want for this armor. I guess like I'll just do a flat thing and see how it just kind of go with this.
Here, I see. Here's a bunch of different Mandalorians for you to possibly look up as reference for colors. I'm kind of digging that yellow one in the center.
Let's see here. You know what? Let's just do this. Damn it. Let's just copy the image.
You can't go wrong with a neutral color either, like a white or black as like a primary, secondary, tertiary color.
Alright, here's palette 1. For the armor.
I will say I think that the purple is a little overpowering, but that's my personal thought.
I need a color that's like actually.
I'm actually kind of down with that. But that's if you want to, like, if you wanted to have the blue be the kind of saturated color, maybe with the hair.
My hair is already kind of like a. I guess.
Keep in mind, my monitor color is a bit saturated in general.
I guess it was actually more like this, actually. This is idea for palette 1. Right there. Now we're gonna go for palette 2.
Also, if you ever want like armor color inspirations, Warhammer just has like a bunch of like in the codexes, which are the rulebooks, they usually have a bunch of example color schemes, and there's like a bajillion of them.
Actually, you know what help this? You know what help me a lot?
Yeah.
What I do. That is off. There we go. That way the white can stand. The white can stand out. It's like how an absolute Martian Manhunter the main villain is like known as like an entity known as like the White Martian, but all the panels are an off-color white.
Hello.
So whenever
Hello.
an enemy appears, it's actually like it stands out.
Yeah.
Here.
Although you do put a bit of a risk whenever it's not on whenever it's on other stuff. So like sometimes it might be good to have like a slightly gray background, but maybe the beige could work too. But I think that's also dependent on how much you plan on having the background be in that kind of off-white. But I could be wrong. So yeah, don't worry too much.
Right now.
You can always like change it back later and just see how it looks.
Make this.
So hello, Lurish.
I'm gonna make this white so whenever it shows the reflections on the black. And watch. There we go.
I think also a part of it is like, what are you trying to say with the armor color? What are you trying to say this dude's deal is?
His deal is that like, okay, so like he's supposed to like, from a meta perspective, it's supposed to be a play on like this righteous male human fighter, but he's actually kind of almost like almost I would describe bloodthirsty and lives for killing.
Mm-hmm.
You
And
could try white, gold, and red.
White, gold. White would white be on the main armor?
Because if you're trying to go for the holy look, you can go with the white. White and gold generally is like white is purity, gold is regal, and red can be blood. You can also incorporate black because it's a neutral color. Black goes with everything, but it can also be that kind of inner darkness. Generally, I would suggest gold for trim, but you could try it also as your primary, depending on how much you want the regal or how much you want the pure to be the main statement.
But of course, it's not going to be this neon yellow, of course.
Okay, I actually wasn't sure. Because I did think that was a little overpowering.
Well, yeah.
I'm gonna use an Ultramarines reference here. Despite that they aren't white, they are gold. They do have gold and blue, and like the gold very much is supposed to kind of represent that kind of regal look. Their kind of theme is like space Roman.
Actually,
you see, now you're doing the Imperial Fist color scheme, which I can get behind.
yeah. Also, it goes with the name that. Did I tell you his name?
Huh? I forget what you said his name was.
Tiber Sunbolt. Like, I wanted to give him like an.
Okay, actually, the yellow might actually work. You might actually be onto something with this color scheme.
I feel like this is the color. Like, I want to have maybe gold because of his name and the fact that like a part of his deal is that like his name is supposed to kind of sound like deceptively heroic.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
What is that? By the way, that like color swatches. What is that from?
Color. I just looked up like color palettes for armor, and there's a site called Color Hacks that like just gave some random like complementary color palettes.
Mm.
Let me actually try a little something for an alternate.
That is a color of yellow I really like. That is a very similar one I use for my Imperial Fist color schemes whenever I'm actually painting Space Marines. They call it Averland Sunset.
I see.
Because it is a slightly orange. Oh, okay, that one's a bit more orange, but it's like a slightly orange yellow that I really dig.
Alright, here's this.
I can dig it. Here, do you mind if I suggest a red though? A type of red? Give me a second here. It's kind of a magenta. How does this red look on the areas where you had the red before? In this case, where you had the blue.
And where I had
It's like a deeper, like, it's kind of like a deeper red.
where I had the blue.
Yeah, or where you had the red in the last version,
Alright.
like in that area. Hello, Noir.
Oh, Noir.
We're watching AC paint a guy.
Yeah. Yes, this color is called Corn Red. It is one of the Warhammer paint colors. So it's kind of like a blood color kind of thing. Like, I guess it's less magenta, more of a burgundy.
Yeah.
Or maybe a maroon.
There we go. So this is the kind of the color scheme I'm working with. A color scheme I have for Mr. Sunbolt over here.
I'll let you be the judge of it. I think it looks fine. I think a few of the other ones that look fine too. I'll let you be the judge.
I will say I do like the color schemes I have. I will say, let's see here. We got A, we got B, C. It's funny that like kind of like the colder blood scheme, the color schemes, like this one feels a lot more reminiscent of that Republic Commando influence. Though it feels cold and dreary and off-putting, which is kind of the character, but I'd almost want him to look almost like deceptively heroic, almost deceptively altruistic.
And I would say try inverting the white and the gold.
On this one?
So, like, put the gold on the trim and then the white as the main armor.
Alright, we're gonna duplicate.
As you could try that as one of the tests.
Alrighty, let's do a little swap.
Because if you wanted to go for like deceptive, then you would generally like want like the white could represent purity.
So.
Okay, that looks up.
What the torso cape and the abdomen colors.
The cape?
About. Yeah.
The idea is that it's a bit of like cloth kind of hanging from the front, and it's supposed to be a little bit in the back, but it's supposed to kind of give off this feeling of like almost a bit of cloth on the armor, kind of reminiscent of like a knight.
It's just fancy fabric, basically. Like a tabard, just not a tabard. You could try making the cloth also gold.
Alright, experiment.
But, yeah, maybe this isn't exactly it.
I'm gonna do something weird. I know it's not gonna work, but I'm gonna try it anyway. Yeah, nah.
I mean, the gold also works well for, like, you know, the regal feeling. You could also try ditching the red in favor of something else. Like, if I look up Paladin white armor, unfortunately, I do get some slop, but I also get some non-slop, and it does seem like a pretty consistent thing of white and gold, with black as kind of the tertiary. So here's two examples. There's some blues, there's some purples in that one with the cape. The gold is usually in filigree. Okay, I think it's. I think if I put minus AI, I can filter out the slop.
Probably.
I think that's how it works.
Yeah.
I assume he's supposed to be a paladin of some sort.
He's a fighter. Well, a warrior. Somebody who's good with every kind of weapon. He's supposed to, like, it wouldn't be out of character for him to have the paladin look. Because the idea is that he is from a, place that, like, really, like, I guess, celebrates, like, a lot of its, like, soldiers and whatnot. Almost like a little bit about how, like, I'm trying to think of an example here. Like how in Helldivers, like, the soldiers are almost seen as, like, propagandized to be these larger-than-life figures.
Well, whenever I do look up paladin, whenever the armor isn't just straight up gray, it does come up. It does seem like they utilize a lot of whites and golds.
Wait.
Sometimes they'll throw in like a red here or there.
Hear me out.
For the ultramarine colors?
This right here.
Yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm.
So far, it's it's not screaming anything at me, but if it's something you feel, then it's something you feel.
Granted, these are all flat. So that might be an affecting factor. But,
This is very much one of those things where I will say, like, how do you feel? Also, a bunch of these references I'm posting are just of paladins specifically. Like, I'm not, like, I specifically looked up, like, paladins. Like, I didn't look up fighter or anything like that. Like, I would say probably the gold armor ones are the one I'm feeling the most. Like, the gold and red.
let me pick this.
Like, either that one or the other gold and red.
I think the ones I'm feeling the most is this and this.
I will say I'm not sure how I feel about the white trim on this one. Maybe that could be swapped out for something else.
Yeah, I'll have to find a different color, but I would it to be something that's not. Maybe it could be blue.
You could just try gold on gold. You could maybe try darkening the gold a bit. Try black.
Actually.
Or maybe like a somewhat gray black. Probably not with the there we are. Because that's kind of what the Horus Heresy Imperial Fist color scheme is for their trim, which I just posted. Where they kind of go with like the kind of grayish black for their trim. Unsure how I feel.
Let's see. I'm either feeling this or this. I like. Actually, wait a minute. Damn it. Why are they?
You could try making the pauldrons yellow and then still have the trim be black. Similar thing to the Imperial Fist thing I posted. But I don't know how much if you want to have that much yellow on it.
I feel like the red in the shoulders and the midsection is enough to really kind of like diversify it. But also, it's like just enough that it's not too much. But also allows them to still be rocking out with the pure gold. We get
Question: whenever you were drawing this, so did you look up any like historical armor, or was it just fictional armor?
a lot of it was fictional because this is a sci-fi like setting he's in.
Yeah, I'm just always gonna recommend trying using real life references because I kind of have this personal philosophy of it's good to use like references from the things you're inspired by, but it's also good to look at references by the things that inspired the things that you like. But that's personal preference. Because I think that a lot of times whenever people do like draw from like things they were inspired by, it's a lot of real life things, and a lot of times the real life things have more detail that then gets simplified. Personal say so. That's just a personal recommendation. I don't want to like pressure you into doing something if you don't care for it.
I might do that for the helmet.
Because I mainly something because if I'm gonna be honest, something about the pauldrons are throwing me off, and I don't know what it is. But that might be just a personal taste thing.
It might also be the fact that there might be that they're like the pose is like from an angle, so the shoulders pads are being like pushed in different areas. Like this is covering this while this isn't. I'll say I do prefer this over his original armor that I had. Like it was more of a rough draft. Well, let me pull out what the rough draft armor looked like. Let me pull this. this is what the rough draft armor looked like.
I gotta admit, I kind of dig it.
I will say, can you tell that there's a little bit of Divine Cybermancy that went into the helmet?
Yeah, I kind of dig it. I can't lie, I kind of dig it. I particularly like the collar.
A lot of it was. I will say this armor was made. This was made more for like the look regal and shit. This was I kind of made this one even though it was based off Fantasy Zone, kind of off of like mobility. If you notice, there's like the black bodysuit, but you notice it in like the elbows and like the shoulder, and that way it still allows him to kind of move his arms.
I will ask, is that supposed to be like a crossguard?
It was a rough draft of the sword I had at last minute. It
'Cause,
wasn't the focus.
May I be, okay, if it's not focused, then it's probably not too mean, but my thought was he's holding a coat hanger.
There's the, but it was thrown together like just as a means.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I get what you mean.
Also,
Just
this helmet being cracked was a part of like the idea, the more of like of a character thing, or the helmet got battle damage. It's showing the bloodlust, the fucking murder smile he has.
Oh, I can dig it. I can dig it. I like it. I like it. A lot.
There's also a bit of like, almost like a RoboCop / Dread kind of thing to it, where it's just like really creepy, like it's the mouth juxtaposed with the weird inhuman helmet almost. I will say something I did change I didn't think about was he has these like rectangles underneath the armor, and on here they're on top. The idea was that he was supposed to have the Republic Commando like arm blades thing. And here it's underhand, and here it's overhand. I see there. I guess, alright, that's the wrong layer. I won't. Wait, hang on. I have an idea. So we're gonna get his helmet. Make the main armor this. I know, kind of locked.
Yeah, if you want to go for noble, like something you could just do is do the gray, you know, the knight in shining armor.
Maybe not that bright. Because that's supposed to be the glowing visor. Alright, here's this.
I think that the waistband kind of is a bit overpowering with this color combo. Specifically like the gold one.
Yeah, I guess one thing I could do is we'd be lowering it.
You could just make I don't is it supposed to be like a fabric? What is it? What is that part? Is it body glove?
This?
Yeah,
The
what is
idea
it
is
supposed
that
to be?
it's a secondary part of the armor.
Is it fabric?
Originally it was supposed to be more of like an alternative material than the rest of the armor, but still like a hardened kind of thing.
Is this a sci-fi setting?
Yeah.
This isn't for your spires, is it?
No.
You could make it black.
Oh yeah, I guess I could.
Or like the off or like that kind of grayish. If it's supposed to be like a hard material like tire rubber,
There we go. How's this?
I think that's better.
This is what the I guess
You could try going back to red for the trim, the pauldron trim.
uh,
Actually, I'm unsure about that one. Kind of reminds me of whenever I see red text on Discord, like where people have the eye bleeding names.
but here I kind of like this. When I'm looking at this, I do like kind of like there's almost a simplicity to this, you know?
Yeah, sometimes less is more.
There's a simplicity to it. It still feels like knight armor, but it also feels like a clone, almost like a sci-fi trooper armor, like a hybrid of it. And it's not like, and although it's not super regal and bright, it'd be something that's you know, I don't know. I guess it feels very uniform in a good way. I guess. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. Again, it's less is more.
Here's the simple armor, and here is the more of what I'll dub the Regal Titan armor. The Regal Titan armor.
Honestly, you might be able to just use the same gray for the trim. That's where the yellow is.
Wait, let me try this.
Or the same like bluish armor color. Maybe like a darker version of it. I don't know how much black you want in versus how much bright colors. Because at some point it comes down to you.
Still,
Like, I don't know if how much like vibrancy you want in your hues. How much saturation you want. How much
I guess the most
black thereof.
saturation I would want is I would want this red visor to be like a bright red. Like
Is it too late? I don't know how hard this would be. Would you be able to just cut out the trim? Just make it a solid pauldron?
it'd be a little complicated and it would fuck up all the other palettes I got, but
Yeah.
I guess
That's the one thing where you go.
Wait, I have it.
I think a part of it's also like, whenever it comes to personal taste, a part of me kind of wants one of those like the corners nearer the neck kind of to be more rounded as opposed to like the square thing. So, that might just be a personal taste thing. So, I'm not sure how much is this being me just unsure how to fit this into my own personal taste whenever it comes to colors.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a little bit of a merger here.
Yeah, like whenever I was doing concept art for my game idea, like I've made like hundreds of variants for one character. Because I can be a bit of a perfectionist, or it's like I feel one thing off, and it's like, no, something's wrong.
Bit of the neck armor from there's a neck armor from the original. And we're gonna add oh yeah. I'll think about that later.
Like I'm looking at the Battlefront 2 EA game Commando, and I'm looking at its pauldron and how it doesn't really have trim.
Funny enough, the original pauldrons I had were like a diamond almost. That kind
A
of
part of me kind of wish that you kept with that. It's a very unique look. Kept with like the geometric look.
You know what's actually kind of funny about the whole diamond look for the shoulder pads? Is kind of an inspiration from it was like a bit of like a mixture of like how I draw things a lot more like how do I say angular and also like there's this one armor that had shoulders that were kind of like a diamond but not really. But do you remember that one tabletop thing that seemed interesting that was like in that book world? I forget what it was called.
I do not know.
Oh, I think I can get the name of it here. Is that the hit up Demi plane?
Because like something I'm thinking that might actually help you is if you made smaller pauldrons.
Cosmere.
Cosmere.
There's this this like medieval knight, but he had like this huge fancy armor that almost looks sci-fi, and the shoulders almost jutted out a bit. And I decided to take that idea and simplify it, and like make it more obviously like sci-fi in its philosophy.
Is this by Brotherwise Games? Oh wait, I think I remember this. Okay, I remember us going through this. Here, I'll look through these. Do you remember what class it was?
It wasn't a class. It was just some concept art, unfortunately.
Oh, did we just look through Google Images?
No, I looked at Demi Plan, but they had the artwork on there. No, I'm trying to think here.
Kind of part of the idea is how do you want the blows to deflect?
The blows to the foot. Say that again?
Whenever, like, if a attack was to hit his shoulder, in like kind of that idea of how would you want the blows to deflect away from him.
The blood. I guess like
This is just one of those kind of things that I generally think of if I was to, draw out armor.
when it comes
Is
to the
kind of like, how do I want it to look after a hit hits him in the mind's eye?
I guess if a blade would have hit the shoulder, like it would that the shoulder would kind of, although it remain strong, it would maybe chip on the angle only slightly. It's meant to like kind of almost like hang on.
And I think if you make it like too large, it might look too cartoonish though. So you might want to make it like this personal taste. Again, it's up to you. It might actually help to make it somewhat smaller and mobile looking, and kind of have the diamond shape to be more for ornamentation.
Damn it, this is gonna be a tricky angle to pull.
But don't feel like you have to do this. This is if you think it looks interesting in your idea, in your head.
Damn it, no, that's not the angle I want. Wrong one. I can just do this side actually.
I'm curious if I get anything if I look up diamond pauldron. I get pauldrons made out of diamond.
Right now I'm trying to get a good way to even out the sizes of it.
There's also the question that you kind of want to give yourself whenever it comes to your own personal suspension of disbelief is how much do I want these pauldrons to jab his neck?
He does have a neck guard.
Yeah, more.
He's got a neck guard.
Because, like, this is one of those things where a lot of people, like, in a video game might cheat because, armor is just a mesh that can be flexed to fit the character. But whenever it comes to big pauldrons, like with Space Marines, you kind of just ignore the fact that a lot of times big pauldrons would actively impede arm movement. This does go with Space Marines. In, like, the video games and stuff, though, they have to fudge it a bit.
Big shoulder look cool.
Oh, wow, I actually did find a pauldron that's kind of like more for fashion, but it actually looks very similar to what you're going for. this thing. Even has some filigree on it, some fancy decoration. I would not recommend copying the fancy decoration. That is Rococo filigree fur lined pauldron armor on Etsy
My
Hmm.
by Idol Atray. For people wondering what it looks like.
wait, this gives me an idea.
It's actually shockingly close to the design you're going for.
Let me try a revise.
Is a forward angle, but I don't know how much that matters for your scenario here. Yeah, that one on his left, our right, is actually kind of something interesting.
This one?
Yeah, I'm actually kind of feeling that one.
That's the trickiest thing is the angles. Because the arms are at different angles, so I have to inherently like kind of fuck with it a little bit. Alright.
Because, like, as far as, like, how I see it, is, like, there's enough room that he could actually lift his arm all the way up. And, because of how the curve and it's elevated, it would actually allow the thing to incline in a way that would allow it to, move over top of the tricep, not tricep. What is the muscle that's, like, in between your, like, shoulder and neck?
Trapezius? I know
Yeah,
because the left one on mine was in agonizing pain a couple of weeks ago.
no, I had the name of it, but I forgot.
I'm looking up muscle anatomy. Yeah, trapezius. That's it.
Yeah, was
Yeah, it essentially allows for it to go over top of the trapezius if he was to stick his arm all the way up, because there's like a level of elevation and room for a curve, room for like a hollowed out area. Unless you prefer the one on our left, unless you prefer that one.
Right now I'm figuring it out. This is what I've got so far.
You know, if you want to go for bulkier, you could go for the one on our left. If you want to go for more mobile, you can go for the one on our right. Either way, they both provide a decent amount of extra cover.
Yeah, I might go for bulky because he's supposed to be like the warrior. He's like the guy. He's supposed to be someone who can get up in up in people's face, and like, well, bulkier is also mainly just for looks, mainly. It also like just to kind of show off a bit. It's almost like kind of like how a bodybuilder might have like a large muscle, where I have like a large arm, when somebody who might be like, we might have a lot more like body fat, or somebody who's like a little bit skinnier might be better at like a specific thing, where the bodybuilder is a little bit there for show, muscle wise. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna try copying and pasting something. Just want to check something, have an idea, but I don't know if it's a good idea or not. But keep on doing your thing.
actually away. I just realized something. It doesn't help that the arm's at an angle, a tricky angle. I guess realistically speaking, if I were to take the angle into account, it should actually look something like. Let's see. Because his shoulder is facing away from us, actually. On his left arm. Yeah, that'll work, kinda. Because the camera is such a horrible revelation I had.
Anyway, I made a slight modification to the shape. I just want you to.
I also made
start.
a
Give me a
horrible.
second.
Yeah.
Oh, you go.
I made a horrible realization. His left shoulder, our right, is facing away from us. Because that's the elbow.
Yeah. No, I've just been kind of assuming you've been trying to do this like full like frontwards without any real like additional dimensions with the foreshortening. I actually mainly just going out the pauldrons. Like I didn't notice you were doing much foreshortening with the pauldrons or angles.
Yeah. I picked a pose that this looks cool, and there's some weird angles with said pose.
Yeah, I'm now noticing the angles you were talking about with the arms. Like I was looking at trying to figure out what you meant by angles with the pauldrons, because it looks like you were just kind of doing a forward-facing pauldron thing. But yeah, I do notice that the arms are at different angles now. But yeah, I made this like really rough slight change. I wasn't sure how much you felt with that pauldron shape. Just like a little bigger, a little bit of extra room. Feel free to modify as you need to. It was just like a basic shape change, basically. I considered adding like extra lines to still keep it geometric, but I didn't want to spend too much time getting into the weeds of it.
Almost a bit of a... Alright, here's a bit of me trying to recreate the angle, the shoulder in accordance to the...
I'll let you be the decider on that.
I kind of dig it.
I was originally going to make a shape like this, until I just kind of went, you know what, I'm not going to spend too much time on this. Because I didn't really like this look that I did. And so I was like, oh, I could either just post the general shape or I could try adding detail. I didn't want to bother trying to add
Oh, fuck.
Generally, though, the thing I'm mainly trying to suggest is doing a type of pauldron that won't require you to do a trim color unless you really want to do a trim color.
Actually, I think avoiding the trim color will let a more simpler palette stand out, actually.
Yeah, out of all the things I was mainly trying to get at is just, I think making a pauldron that avoids trim is a good idea for this guy. This shape, though, I'm unsure if it's what you want or not.
I think it'll work.
Alright.
Here we go. Oh, wait. There we go.
If I was gonna suggest alternative pauldron shapes prior to you already kind of getting started, I would have probably suggested something like these. But I don't know if that really fits what you want.
I think these shoulders that you suggested that I drew on them, I think they fit what I'm going for. Oh fuck!
Are you just gonna keep it to the one?
Well, the reason why, I drew both of them, but the
Was
shoulder,
it on a different layer?
both the shoulders, I drew them both. Well, I mean,
Oh, is it at a different angle?
the
That's the
shoulder's
idea?
facing away from us. See?
Oh, alright.
That's why it's like that. It's the shoulder is facing the opposite.
Wait, is it that fin in the back? I'm sorry.
It's right here. This is the shoulder.
Would it be bending back that much though? So sorry, I don't want to get into the weeds too much.
The shoulder is facing in the opposite direction. That's his elbow right there.
Yeah, I'm noticing. Just yeah, it's fine. You know, I'm probably just misunderstanding something I'm seeing.
Actually, it'd be better if I actually just used his actual, like, the portrait's color palette here. Oh man, it is kind of funny that the skin tone I used from isn't that far off from the color I'm using for the background. and that's Tiber's armor.
Not bad.
There he is.
There he is.
Yeah, I think the change to the pauldron did a lot for this.
Yeah.
Trying to, instead of like trying to force a trim color, I think simplifying it added a lot.
Now, before I end things, there was one other pose I had set up. I'll probably draw them later, actually.
If you do want to still try going for the regal look, you could try making the tabard, the cloth thing, and the visor gold. But I don't know if that's what you're looking for.
I kind of prefer the blood red of the visor right here.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just draw them really quickly just to show the contrast. How differently I take design philosophies on with this character specifically. Main character of a book I stopped working on when I started working on Hunter. Actually, I might do this for changes. Isn't that funny how differently I go about designing different each characters? Like, a lot of times, sometimes I'll be like, oh, I need to think about this armor and like this, all that. And like a lot of times when it comes to, yeah, I think it's a little too big. It comes to designs like this, or this comic I was working on, I was like, oh, it's the main character, what should I give him? Just give him some long sleeve shirt and some jeans. Might give him various jackets throughout the series. give battle damage to shirt. Just give it a bit more, to give it intrigue points.
Alright, I'm gonna pass out soon, so I'm gonna need to head off. Good night.
Okay. Good night.
Should I give him the...
You want to call it there, AC, or do you want to keep going?
I'll probably finish up, see on the left here. We're calling it.
Mm-hmm.
Just to give it a... Gold... Stretch my back a bit. Actually... wanted to record be a slightly different gray.
Mm-hmm.
I would say now I'll probably call it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the character design. Hope you all enjoyed. I'll have to keep this in mind. The streaming stuff in mind, just think, for next time. But anyway, see ya and good night.